Hey, how you doing? Wayne here. Today it's around 6:30. Bit overcast today. Don't know how your weekend was, but what a fantastic, if you live in the UK, what a beautiful day. It's probably the best weekend we've had for a long time. Actually reminded me a little bit of where I used to live back in Thailand. So we actually had some sunshine. It was fantastic. Could actually go outside and really enjoy, like, doing some reading out in the garden there, relaxing in the chair, having some great food on the table outside, beautiful, really nice, and just really taking in the world, and really enjoying it, because for a long time in this country we get a lot of miserable weather, and I think that's something that really sort of depressed me in the early stages when I first come back, because I lived in a country where all I had was beautiful weather. Anyway, reason I just digressed there, but I hope you had a fantastic weekend, because you really want to make the most of those weekends when the sun's out like that, because it's just epic, it's beautiful, and it gives you a bit more bounce into your step, as I like to say, and it gives you a lot more to look forward to. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you a little story. I was walking down the high street at the over the weekend, should I say. And I bumped into a friend. I haven't seen this person for quite a long time now, since I come back. And I just happened to start talking, and we was chatting away. And this person said to me, "Oh, you look really great, and how's life and this, that, and that." We had the normal chit chat, the normal thing. And I noticed that this person's how they used to carry themselves was quite different to how they were carrying themselves today. Their shoulders were like down, they were quite hunched over. The tonality on their voice was very like low and very sort of, sort of the end of the world. And when I started to have a conversation with them, I found out a few things. And this particular individual was going through some quite traumatic things in their life. And they asked me a question, and they said, "Wayne, look, you look fantastic. I know that your life wasn't great quite a few months ago, but what's happened? What's made the difference?" And I said, "What do you mean? Like going through depression and stuff like that?" She went, "Yeah." I said, to be fair, I said, it's interesting that you say that, because I'm doing like a video program, like shoot people and tell them. I said, but not just so much that, it's just because there's so many people that are in a similar position to you. But what I want to do is I want to really discuss that with you. And she said, yeah, that'd be great. So we just went and had a coffee, and we were just sitting there, and she was just telling me a few things about her life and what was happening. And anyway, I don't want to go into it because there's a lot of detail there. But she asked me a question, and she said, do you know whether depression, anxiety, that sort of thing can be cured, or whether I'm going to ever get my energy levels back up, because of, when I'm depressed, I just feel like, I've got no get up and go and this, that, and the other. And I said, look, I'm not a doctor. And then she started asking me about medical. Should I take antidepressants? Should I do this and that? And I said, look, I can only show you or tell you what I've done. I'm not a doctor. I'm going to put it out there that that's not something I've ever confessed to be. I don't know any medical sides. I just know that I read a lot. I take in a lot of information, and I put that into action, and I think that's the most important thing. But the thing I remembered when, after she said that to me, and I said to her, well, look, let me explain to you this story, you see. So she said, okay. I said, look, years ago, when I had this problem with gambling, as I spoke to you before about, I was a compulsive gambler, which meant that I didn't gamble for the sake of winning money. And I know that sounds difficult for a lot of people, but I gambled for the pure buzz. I was always looking for that high. I was always looking for that way out. You speak to people in betting shops, most of them don't have much of a life. When I say that, they tend to spend their Saturdays in a betting shop. And you are what they say you are the equivalent of the people that you hang around with. Well, as soon as I stopped hanging around with those type of people, my life changed quite dramatically. And all I can say is that, if you go into a casino, as an example, you've got to ask yourself a question: why are those people in that casino? And most people would say, well, because they're there because they want to make money, or they want to win money, or whatever the case may be. It's because they're not actually happy in a lot of cases with their situation. Some people go there because they want to gamble, because it's just for enjoyment purposes. And I take my hat off to people like that. I wish I could do that. you know, for me to have £50 I don't know, on a dog, as an example, or a dog race, it's just impossible. If someone gave me two pence and said go and have a bet on that, it wouldn't make any difference to me. It could be £1,000,000 and I'd still put it on there. That's how I used to be, because it was never about the races, it was never about the win, it was all about the environment, it was all about the buzz, it was all about the screaming and the shouting and getting excited in front of the telly. And that is something that, excuse me, that is something that I really have issues with sometimes, because even today, I remember, you know, sometimes I speak to someone and they start talking about, oh, did you see so-and-so race, or do you know about this, what's happened, or did you see the boxing, I should have had a few quid on this, or whatever. And when they start to talk about it, sometimes I can just feel myself getting a little bit emotionally excited about it. And I understand it now, and it won't push me. But the reason I'm telling you this is because I think the answer to that question is, can it be cured, is it's the same as what they told me when I was in my meetings, and they said, look, what you've got here is it's basically, it's something that is an illness. It can never actually be cured, but it can be arrested. And what I mean by that is arrested, meaning that it can be lived with, you can live with it. You will never constantly get rid of this. You can live a much better life because you're dealing with it from the point of view of how you want to live your life. Okay, and I think that's really important. But whether you can cure it, I'm not a medical physician. Can't even speak that, put my mouth in the teeth and all that today. I'm not a medical practitioner. I'm not someone that would know that. I mean, you could look it up, you could read about it. Whether or not that information that they tell you is absolutely 100%, I'm not so sure. I always thought that medical practice stood for the word practice, because they are practicing, and that's no disrespect to them. You know, you can't expect someone to know absolutely everything about everything. You know, if you take your car to a motor mechanic because it's got a knocking noise, what's he say to you? Well, I've had a look, but I don't know what it is. What I'm going to have to do, first of all, I'm going to have to strip the heads. Okay, well, how are you going to do that? Well, what I have to remove the manifold, then I take the cover, and then and then they go into more depth and do. Oh yeah, will that fix my problem? Well, to be honest with you, don't know, because it's blowing black smoke. We really don't know. We think we know it's going to be a head gasket, but it might not be. And if that's wrong by any mechanics out there, again, listen, I'm not a medical expert. I'm not a mechanic, right? I'm just telling you what I know in the respect of knowledge, yeah? So it's really important for you to understand that, first of all, is that cure's interesting word, I think. I think more about arrested, because if you can live with it and you can deal with it yourself, then you'll have a much better life. And there's, you know, as we speak every day, I hope that you're getting something out of this, and I really hope that you're moving forward. And the other thing as well is that you start living your life and start doing the steps. The other thing as well, when it comes to medication, I think that's personal preference. I know some people that have had bad experiences from medication, and there again I know some people that have good experiences from it. It just depends on what level you're at, and the only way you can find out what level you're at is to give yourself a temp check, maybe speak to a friend, maybe speak to your doctor, and that's the best advice I can give you. So anyway, listen, I'm going to go because it's time for some breakfast, because you've got to have breakfast, got to eat, right? Keep your energy levels up. Anyway, guys, take it easy. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.